If you've ever wondered whether one small act of kindness can rewrite an entire destiny, stay with me until the end, because this story proves it can. And if stories that restore your faith in humanity matter to you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. You never know whose life you might help change just by sharing hope. Red Heart. It was nearly midnight when Daniel heard the pounding on his door. Not a polite knock. Not a neighbor's tap. This was frantic, desperate, the kind that makes your chest tighten before your mind even understands why. Daniel froze halfway between his couch and the kitchen. He lived alone on the edge of a quiet town where nothing happened after dark. At 46, his life had become a careful routine of silence. Work at the repair shop. Microwave dinners. Old baseball games on TV. Sleep. Repeat. The pounding came again. "Please," a woman's voice cried through the door. "Please, help us." Us. Daniel opened the door just a crack, chain still fastened. On his porch stood a woman soaked from head to toe, hair plastered to her face, clutching a little girl in one arm while a boy of about 8 hid behind her legs. Both children were trembling violently, not just from the cold. "Please," she whispered, voice breaking. "He's coming." Daniel didn't ask who. He didn't ask why. He just shut the door long enough to remove the chain, then opened it wide. "Come inside," he said. The woman nearly collapsed with relief. Her name was Maria. The girl was Sophia, 5 years old, silent and wide-eyed. The boy was Leo, trying very hard to look brave but failing every time his lower lip trembled. Daniel wrapped them in blankets, made hot chocolate, and watched from across the table as they drank like they hadn't tasted warmth in days. Only when the children fell asleep on his couch did Maria speak. "He found us," she said quietly. "I thought we were safe." Bit by bit, the story came out. An abusive husband. Years of fear. A final violent outburst that forced her to flee with nothing but the clothes on their backs. They'd been hiding in shelters, moving constantly. Tonight, he had tracked them down. "I just ran," she said. "I didn't know where else to go." Daniel stared at his hands. 10 years earlier, he had lost his own wife and unborn daughter in a car accident. Since then, he had carefully avoided anything that resembled attachment. Pain couldn't reach you if you didn't let anyone close. Yet here they were. 3 strangers asleep in his living room. "You can stay tonight," he said. "We'll figure out the rest tomorrow." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you." Tomorrow turned into a week. Daniel helped her file a police report, contact a legal aid group, and enroll the kids in a temporary school program. He told himself it was only until she got back on her feet. But something strange began happening inside the house. Noise returned. Cartoons in the morning. Small footsteps running down the hallway. Sophia's giggles echoing off the walls. Leo asking endless questions about tools, cars, space, dinosaurs, everything. One evening, Daniel came home to find crayon drawings taped across his refrigerator. Stick figures holding hands under a bright yellow sun. "That's you," Leo said proudly, pointing to the tallest figure. Daniel blinked. "Me? Yeah. Because you saved us." He didn't know what to say. No one had needed him in a very long time. But peace never lasts forever. 3 weeks later, Maria got the call she feared most. Her husband had been released on bail. That night, every creak of the house sounded like footsteps. Every passing car made Maria flinch. Daniel sat in the dark living room, baseball bat resting beside him, listening. Around 2 a.m., headlights swept across the windows. A car slowed in front of the house. Stopped. Daniel's heart slammed against his ribs. He stepped onto the porch before fear could stop him. A man sat in the driver's seat, staring. Not drunk. Not confused. Just cold. After a long, suffocating moment, the car drove away. But the message was clear. He knew where they were. The next morning, Maria packed their bags. "We can't stay," she said, voice shaking. "I won't put you in danger." Sophia clung to Daniel's leg. Leo stared at the floor, jaw clenched like he was trying not to cry. Something inside Daniel cracked open. "You don't have to run anymore," he said quietly. Maria looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean, you stay. I'll handle him." "You don't even know him." Daniel's voice hardened in a way it hadn't in years. "He doesn't know me either." Legal proceedings moved quickly after that. With Daniel's testimony, neighbors' statements, and Maria's evidence, the court granted a restraining order and emergency protective measures. Police patrols increased. The husband's intimidation backfired, strengthening the case against him. Weeks turned into months. The threats slowly faded. And the house changed. Sophia started calling it our home. Leo joined a little league team and insisted Daniel attend every game. Maria found work at a nearby clinic. Laughter became ordinary. Sunday pancakes became tradition. One evening, Daniel overheard Sophia whispering during bedtime prayers, "Thank you for sending us to our dad." Daniel stepped back from the doorway, stunned. Maria met him in the hallway, eyes shining. "She asked me if she could call you that someday," Maria said softly. "I told her, that's up to you." For a man who had spent a decade avoiding love, the word hit like sunlight after a long winter. He swallowed hard. "I don't know if I deserve that." Maria shook her head. "You don't earn family. You become it." The adoption process took over a year. Paperwork. Interviews. Home visits. Doubts creeping in late at night. Memories of loss whispering that happiness never stays. But the day the judge finalized it, Sophia launched herself into his arms shouting, "Daddy," at full volume in a courtroom that suddenly felt very small. Leo tried to act cool, then hugged him just as tightly. Maria stood beside them, crying openly. For the first time in years, Daniel didn't feel like a man surviving life. He felt like someone living it. Years passed. The repair shop expanded. Leo grew tall and strong, eventually working beside him. Sophia filled the house with music and art. Maria's laughter became the heartbeat of every room. On a quiet summer night, Daniel sat on the porch watching fireflies blink across the yard while the family he never expected argued cheerfully inside about what movie to watch. Maria stepped out, handing him a cup of tea. "You're smiling," she said. "I was just thinking," he replied. "Funny how one knock on a door can change everything." She slipped her hand into his. "Not funny," she said. "Fate. If you're still here, remember this: sometimes the family you're meant to have doesn't come from where you started, it comes from who you choose to protect, who you choose to love, and who chooses you back." One act of courage. One open door. One moment of compassion. That's all it takes to turn strangers into forever. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and become part of a community that believes kindness still wins in the end. Red Heart.